a city full of history.
To strike at the Pennsylvania Railroad, and specifically whether it be the Altoona shops or the Horseshoe Curve, really would have hindered, America's ability to move troops, move material, natural resources that were necessary for the conduct of the war.
Dedicated to showing you the impact of World War II and stories with ties to the local area.
Yes, I was very much afraid when I first went in. We got the food ready and sent it out to the different ships.
This is Yourtown, Altoona, live at the Railroaders Memorial Museum. Good evening. We continue our summer Yourtown series this week in Altoona.
And we are live in the Railroaders Memorial Museum, where the Heinz History Center World War II exhibit is set up.
We have a lot of great stories in store for you today as local people share their memories about the war.
Before we get into that, though, we want to bring in Erica Kilbride, the Director of Retail for the museum, if you could step on in, to give us a little bit more information. Talk to us a little bit about the Railroaders Museum.
Sure. The Railroaders Museum is dedicated solely to the railroad workers, so more about the people than it is about the railroad, the company, or the trains. It's about the people who built the railroad, the people who built the city.
Now, an interesting fact about the museum, it's the only railroad museum in the nation. Can you expand a little bit upon that?
It's the only interactive one, yes. So most of the exhibits in the museum that you'll come across are going to have some sort of interactive quality, some moving part to it. In the test department section, you can press a button and see how the different equipment with the PRR would have been tested. There's a model layout of Altoona. You can run trains through the layout, see the different paths the trains take through Altoona.
And finally, while you're here, there's so much to see. It's an impressive museum. What's your favorite part? If you had to pick one, do you have a favorite?
My favorite would be the Women in Railroading exhibit. It really focuses on the other portion, the women that worked in Altoona. Also, not just back in the war when they started employing women, but also today there's a section just about Norfolk Southern's women currently employed as well.
All right, very good. Thank you, Erica, for joining us. And one thing that caught our attention here, the love letters.
Yeah, one in particular is signed with a kiss of pink lipstick. The handwritten letter is by a woman from Bellwood to her boyfriend in San Pedro, California. It reads, "Hello, honey," and that it's a beautiful day outside. It goes on to express the highs and lows of wartime romance. A plaque below says the recipient made it back from war and the couple married in 1945.
And one man who paid the ultimate sacrifice became a local hero. That was Sergeant Michael Strank. He's captured in the famous picture raising the flag at Iwo Jima, and that image went on to become a symbol of America's might.
Most people know him from that iconic picture. That's right, Tim. But this World War II display honors the Johnstown native with an individual statue. It's actually right here behind us. And we were there as his sister and niece saw the display for the first time.
Well, I'm so proud of him. But Mike wouldn't have wanted all the attention that came with it. He was always for the next guy. He was always wanting to do good for everyone else.
The Marine is so often shown with his brothers on top of that hill in Iwo Jima. Even Strank's sister, Mary, is only aware of him in that picture. She still carries the memory of the day she learned he was killed in action.
It was such a sad time at our house when the telegram came. And my mother sort of had a feeling that something bad was going to happen. And she said, when the telegram came, could you open it and read it to me? And the man read the telegram to her, and she passed out.
Strank was an immigrant who grew up in Franklin Borough in suburban Johnstown.
I think it's, his heritage. He came from Czechoslovakia, and he just rose up. He was a leader, but he pulled everybody together.
Mary said during the attack, officers thought the first flag raised on Iwo Jima was too small. So her brother headed up the mountain to place the second, larger flag for the iconic moment captured on camera.
He carried the flag under his shirt, and when the time came, they found a pole on the ground, and he says, "Men, let's go, we're going to put the flag up."
After the fall of Mount Suribachi, Sergeant Strank was fatally wounded by artillery fire. He now rests in Arlington National Cemetery.
It also makes you think of all the other men who gave their lives and they don't get all this recognition, that people lost lives and they don't often go noted as Mike did.
Sergeant Strank continues to be recognized in the area, and here in this display, his statue stands almost 6 feet tall.
I think about the extent that people have gone to here in this area just to keep Johnstown heritage alive, and it's always amazing to me the people who show up and who attend and who are deeply moved and who want to be part of this.
From the horseshoe curve to the buildings that make up the city of Altoona, let's take a look above from our Skyview 6.
Altoona is a city known for its railroad industry. It's home to the Horseshoe Curve, a section of railroad tracks on Norfolk Southern Railway's Pittsburgh line. It was an important means of transportation for people and goods. Demand for train travel dropped after World War II as highway and air travel became popular. But the Horseshoe Curve remains a popular tourist attraction today. Coming up over the tracks, the Railroaders Memorial Museum is revealed. The museum is dedicated to celebrating the significance of railroads. You can see Altoona Pipe and Steel Supply beside the museum. In the 1960s, its main operation was moved here to the site of the old Pennsylvania Railroad locomotive shops.
Welcome back. We are live at the Railroaders Memorial Museum to highlight the Heinz History Center World War II exhibit that is here in Altoona.
There are more than 40 war monuments throughout Blair County that date back to the Civil War. The Blair County Veterans Association began restoration work on those monuments about 5 years ago. Their first project was relocating a statue to the Robert E. Lee Veterans Mall in downtown Altoona. The group is a nonprofit organization that relies on local communities and businesses to help with funding for the projects.
You put faith in your human beings anymore, and they come out here and they want to reconstruct all these memorials. It's so gratifying that and humbling. It's a feeling that I don't think you can get from anywhere else.
Their next project will be the Garden Heights World War II Monument.
There's also a story within the city of Altoona of a boxer named Thor who spent time in the war.
But prior, he was a family dog who routinely roamed through Altoona.
Here's the story of a war hero, Thor, told by his childhood owner.
Robin Ika grew up with a special dog, a full-bred boxer named Thor, who forever changed her life and those around her. Prior to the days of leash laws, Thor spent his days wandering town, stopping at the Penn Alto and heading toward 12th Street to visit people, restaurants, and other businesses.
My mother got a phone call once, and a woman's voice said, "Oh, the girls and I, Thor has just left and we had such a lovely visit." And she said, "Well, where are you?" And they said, "Gables." And my mother said, "What department?" And they said, "Better Dresses." And my mother, knowing how the dog drooled, she said, "Oh my God." He said, "Better Dresses."
During this time, Ika remembers a large sign that read, "Uncle Sam wants your dog," and Thor was sent to the military. He served for over a year in the Army branch that trained dogs to patrol coastlines and perform other duties.
I had this romantic picture of him guarding the coast against the oncoming Japanese, if ever, but they never said where he went. But we got letters fairly frequently saying, you know, he was in good hands and happy and doing well.
Thor returned home with impressive discharge papers and a sheet of commands that went beyond fetch and sit. Commands such as code words for the names of islands in the South Pacific. But Ika said that Thor went right back to being the dog he was before he left and continued to receive a lot of public notice.
I had my father in a chair holding a big scroll in a picture frame, and the scroll said in very elaborate formal language that, you know, he had the right to mooch anywhere, was what it said in a number of lines. Then I'll never forget the name, Vol Rouser, police chief, at the bottom, and my father's holding the picture. And the dog's looking at it like he read it, so that the photographer caught just the right.
Now it's time for some Yourtown trivia. I'm joined by Jared Frederick to test his knowledge on some of the area's history. The first question has two parts. How many World War II Congressional Medal of Honor recipients are there in Blair County? And the kicker, what are their names?
Well, I know of at least one, and his name was Robert E. Laws, and he received the Medal of Honor for his action in the Philippines, fairly near to the war's end. Was there more than one?
There was more than one. There were two. Harry R. Hare.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. And the second question, how many interactive railroaders museums are there in the country?
This one.
Just this one. Yeah. That's right. Thanks so much for playing trivia with me, Jared. We'll have some giveaways for him, and you'll go over there and get your T-shirt afterwards. But we'll be right back live from the Railroaders Memorial Museum in Altoona. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us as we continue our summer-long Yourtown series at the Railroaders Memorial Museum.
We've had a chance to talk with people at the museum, families with ties to the war. We'd like to introduce you to a 98-year-old former WAVE, which stands for Women Accepted for Voluntary Emergency Services.
I really don't know. I think I wanted a change in life. That's why I joined the Navy. I had 3 brothers that went into the service, and I wanted to go in and follow them.
Vera Bashani is a 98-year-old veteran who served in the women's branch of the United States Naval Reserve during World War II, also known as WAVES. 7 other women worked alongside Bashani to prepare and send food to the ships.
There was 8 of us, and we had a nice group.
When WAVES began in 1942, people said that women did not have a place in the Navy.
The fellows kind of resented us because they thought we were taking their jobs and they were going overseas. But that's not so. I mean, we were there to help them.
Bashani trained at Hunter College in the Bronx, New York before being relocated to San Francisco, California. She traveled to Oakland, California by boat where she was eventually discharged.
I enjoyed very much because I met some of the nicest people. And they all treated you wonderful.
There are several banners currently hung to honor Hollidaysburg hometown heroes. You can find Bashani's flag on Allegheny Street.
Now let's take a look.
It was a beautiful day today, but are those blue skies going to stick around for the Father's Day weekend? That's the big question.
Yeah, they sure are.
Let's toss it back to Drew Anderson. Drew?
Hey, so let's take a look at the sky over the museum right now. And there they are, the blue skies. Now, they're going to stay for part of the Father's Day weekend, not the second half of the Father's Day weekend. Let's check out current conditions in Altoona right now, where the winds are still blowing at 16. It's been a windy day, but over the next 3 hours, the winds, they're coming down. Temps are in the mid-60s, so it's been cool with that wind. We told you last night it's going to feel pretty chilly because literally a wind chill. Dare I say it? But when temps are only in the 60s, and the winds got that much muscle to it, it's chilly. So without those winds tonight, temperatures not bad, down into the low 50s. Saturday, the winds pick up again for the afternoon, but feeling much better. See, the winds are coming up from the south, so they're pulling up some warmer weather, and they're pulling up our temperatures to 80 degrees. They're also helping to pull up some more clouds. Technically, they're actually adding some more moisture air that's going to allow for some clouds to roll in. We start out really sunny, then the clouds start thickening in the afternoon. Still looks great in Altoona and Blair County and Bedford County at 1:30, but it's a little cloudier for us in Clearfield County and Jefferson County. Then everyone's turning rather cloudy right before sunset, which is 8:45. Check the time, 7:30, quick sprinkle in Clearfield County and Jefferson County, and a couple more hit and miss showers over the night Saturday into Sunday. Sunday morning, couple showers, then we're dry in the middle of the day. So if you want to do something on Sunday, do it in the middle of the day. Then into the evening go with widespread scattered showers and thunderstorms. So if you want to mow the lawn, here's your options. Saturday or next week, actually, Tuesday and Wednesday, we have a window. Check it out on the 7-day forecast right there. So the reason we're getting that lousy weather on Sunday and Monday, well, it goes a little bit more south to give us some sun for Tuesday and Wednesday, but then it sneaks back up for Thursday and for Friday. Well, that is the latest on weather. Now let's send it back to Yourtown.
There's a local nonprofit organization aimed at helping veterans, active duty service members, and first responders with any assistance they need.
The Keystone Pinups is staffed by volunteers with a passion to help those who served our country. Let's toss things over to Jordan Siopa for more.
Thanks, guys. Now, I am here with Sarah and Angela from the Keystone Pinup organization. Now, Sarah, can you tell me a little bit about the Keystone Pinups and what you guys do?
Sure. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization based here in Blair County. We spend our time raising money and awareness for veterans, first responders, and our military.
That's awesome. Now, Angela, why is it important to help those who have fought for our country?
A lot of our veterans are kind of struggling right now, and they struggle a lot during the winter. They can get help, but a lot of it goes through a lot of red tape through like the VA and all of that. So we kind of try to cut out the middleman and help them directly. And I think it's important to give back to your community and show respect to the people that have done a lot for us.
That's great. Now, Sarah, I understand that there was a local pinup who was from around here. Can you talk a little bit about her?
Janet Blair, born Margaret Janet Lafferty, took the name Blair for Blair County. Here's an original headshot from Columbia Pictures. She went to Hollywood directly after high school and became a Hollywood star, but she also did a lot for our military. She was a pinup for the Yank magazine. The Yank magazine was given to soldiers to raise morale, along with a pack of cigarettes and some bubble gum. So she was the original pinup girl for the November 1943 edition.
Wow, that's so cool. And my last question is, what events do you guys have coming up?
We have a nighttime glow run. It's a 5K that's coming up tomorrow. And then August,
we have the Ecken Road ride. It's for a local soldier that has passed. We'll be there and helping out with that to help raise money.
Great. Well, thank you both so much for being here, and we will be right back after the break with more from Yourtown, Altoona.
Welcome back. WJAC celebrating its 70th anniversary, and there's a lot going on because of that. We have a lot of the throwback Thursdays for you, both news and sports, half-hour specials. Jen Johnson already did one. We have more coming up, more with news and sports later this summer. So a lot happening because of our 70th anniversary. And you know what? You can't have a celebration without cake and ice cream.
You definitely cannot. We want to say a big thank you to Lisa Becker Bakery in Altoona for providing that delicious cake, and Gallagher's for the 70 cups of ice cream commemorating our 70th anniversary. Jordan Siopa is over there. She's going to cut the cake right now.
There's a lot of icing on that cake.
A lot of icing on that cake. We were saying earlier, there's a mountain of icing on that cake, a literal mountain of icing on that cake.
Serving millions from atop the Alleghenies. That's where that cake is from, the Logan that the JAC had when it went on the air at first in 1940.
You were here for that, were you not?
Not quite.
Oh, okay, sorry, so sorry.
I just missed the cut. But Yourtown will continue on next week. Join us. Jen Johnson and Ryan Stanker will broadcast live from Clearfield County for the Lesser Lumber Classic All-Star Football Game.
But for now, stay right here on WJAC. 6 News at 6 is on after the break.